What's going on, guys? I want to do a very quick video about this pretty inexpensive case for the Google Pixel Fold. You can see here it's only $14.99 JETech. This thing looked pretty basic from the images on Amazon, but I thought, I'm going to try to gather up a whole bunch of cases and see what some of the better options are out there. So I went ahead and I bought this, and we'll get the box out of the way because it's obviously already installed on the Pixel Fold. And I got to tell you, after just a couple of minutes, I am already pretty impressed with this very inexpensive case. So the first thing that I think that they got really correct is the fingerprint scanner. See how it's cut out here? Really easy to get to. But they also were smart enough to cut out this area too, which doesn't seem like something you'd have to do, but it really helps because a lot of the time when you're putting your thumb on this, it covers that whole area. So that is actually really, really smart. Your volume buttons are there and they're working really well. Also, another thing that they absolutely got right is the height here. With some other cases I've looked at, they've made this area too tall, and the result of that, let me jump into an application here, is that it's hard to go back because you have to kind of get your finger, on the inside of where that lip is. This is not a problem on this case. It's really, really easy to just go back. No problem at all there. So they definitely nailed that aspect as well. An interesting thing that they did here is they have made their case one piece. If I take this thing off here, you'll be able to see what I mean. See how it's all one piece? It's got its own little hinge mechanism up there that kind of holds it all together. I don't know how, durable that's necessarily going to be, but when it's all on here and in place, the result is you don't really need any kind of like adhesion or anything to hold the thing in place. It actually is on there really, really nice and firm. On the back side, it's like somewhat transparent. You can actually see the Google logo through that. And that's kind of cool, although this is picking up fingerprints like crazy. This is like the most fingerprint grabby material I've probably ever seen. The camera bar is also covered up and everything looks like it's cut out really accurately and quite well. And overall, it just isn't adding like a ton of bulk to the device. Even when it's open here in tablet mode, it's not super thick along the edges. It already has relatively large bezels, so you don't really want to have anything adding size to the outside, and this really isn't adding a ton. As you can see here, we're also fully compatible with wireless charging using a Pixel stand here, no problem at all. So there is also a frosted clear version. If you got that white Pixel Fold, that might be a better option for you. They do talk about how this is a TPU material that they say will protect against shocks and drops, but a lot of cases will say they're like a mil standard, a military standard. They'll give a number or something. Nothing quite like that on here, but again, this is a $15 case. You're going to kind of get what you pay for there. You're not going to get like rigorous military testing on something like this. If there's one issue with this case, it's this. Can you see how sometimes it's not totally closed? Like if I squeeze it, you can see that it got just, we're talking millimeters, right? But it does get slightly more closed. Sometimes when you shut this thing, it just kind of like rebounds and stays ever so slightly open, which could, in theory, allow lint and things like that to slip in. Now, look, it's not going to be a rock slipping through that, letting something big in there that I think could like damage your phone. I don't think that that's going to happen, but you could be pulling it out of your pocket and having some additional lint in there that maybe you'd rather not have. I also mentioned that the case does grip on really well without adhesive. There's one area that always is a problem, this area right here, that if you push on it, it will wiggle around. There's nothing to hold that in place. You could get like a little, 3M adhesive strip and put that down and lock that down. That might get on your nerves. It might not. I don't really foresee it being a big problem. Unless, of course, you let, bits of sand or things underneath there, then it could wiggle around and scratch it. Something else to kind of keep in mind. Let me also add that this sleek strip, which I'll also drop a link in the description for, is making for a fairly nice combo with this case. It's stuck quite well, and it is going to make the thing a lot easier to sort of one hand. You can also kind of use it as a stand. It's not going to work as a stand in tablet mode, but you have laptop mode and tent mode for stuff like that. But sleek strip with this thing, because of how this thing is shaped and everything, you're not really adding as much width to it as normal because of the camera bump and because of the fact that the edge here is ever so slightly raised. I guess it's really not raised very much. That might just be an optical illusion, but definitely the camera bump is at least that tall, if not taller. Sleek strip looks like a pretty good combo with this thing. So other than that one somewhat glaring issue for $14.99, I do think that this thing is relatively solid. I think it feels pretty good. It feels fairly premium in the hand, in particular for $14.99. Guys, I'm going to drop an affiliate link down below. If you want to check it out yourself, you can do so and help support the channel. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.